Look, I know it's been a few weeks. I have some really, really big and we're also making Thai curry, which we haven't done for a while. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get into the chat here. I'll probably do that intro again, just because you know how it goes. We got to get Instagram working. Instagram lags behind a little bit on this. Okay, so there we go. Instagram is up one more time. Welcome back to Let Him Cook. I know it's been a few weeks. I have been to Cincinnati. I have been to Colorado. I have some big news for you during the stream. I have some fun, just good news to share with you during the stream. And once again, we're making Thai curry. I've upgraded my space here. I can see all the streams and all of the chats now, which I wasn't able to do before. You're probably gonna see me beat bopping around a little bit just to make sure I keep track of everything, because I don't know if you can, let me just go ahead and show you. I've got my laptop and a whole other monitor here. And I'm also probably gonna take you on a little bit of a studio tour today, because I don't want you to, oh my goodness, my camera's being weird. There we go, cancel tracking. Okay, probably also take you on a little bit of a studio tour today, because over the last few weeks, I have been working on some upgrades to my studio space in light of some of the news I'm gonna share today. But I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time to get here in the chat. We're gonna talk about a whole lot of cool things, but we're making Thai curry tonight, and we're basically just following the instructions on this Passage to India red Thai curry. I've got some coconut milk here. I've already got some rice over here to the side that I just need to get started. And my chicken is defrosted already, so I'm gonna go ahead and break that out. You guys have probably seen me make Thai curry before. You know it uses a coconut base. As far as vegetables, I'm gonna be doing an onion and a red pepper. I also have some shredded carrots in the fridge that I can add to this. Or I'm sorry, some carrot chips that I can add to this. And I also have a potato that I thought I could cube, but I might have to kind of figure out how to cook that separately. So again, I'm gonna give you guys some time to get into the chat there. I know it's been a couple of weeks. Make sure you let me know how everybody is. I know it took me a while. I wasn't able to actually get the last stream that we did posted to Instagram, but it is up on my YouTube channel now. So if you want to go back and revisit that stream that we did where we had ChatGPT make our instructions for us, you can go find that on the YouTube channel. We're basically just going to be following the recipe that is on the outside of this red curry container. Callista on YouTube says hello from Texas. What's up, Callista? I also am in Texas, as you know. But this is one of my new favorite mugs. I got this when I was in the Rocky Mountains a couple of weeks ago. Went hiking, hiked the Emerald Lake Trail. It was very challenging because of the speed we had to do it with, and there was a lot of verticality, a lot of steps. At the end of June, I think it was June 26th that we were there, I was able to make a snowball from a snowdrift that had come down from the top of the mountain. So let's go ahead and read through this. We're doubling this recipe, by the way. I actually have two of these. So we're gonna do what many have tried to do in the past, which is to double a recipe. We're gonna need 2 pounds of chicken, a bunch of mixed vegetables. I'm just gonna kind of use what I have. 2 of these things of coconut milk, and some rice, which the rice is cooking in the rice cooker off to the side here. We are going to need to heat some oil in a saucepan, add the chicken pieces. So the first thing I need to do is I need to dice my chicken. I have 2 pounds of chicken down here in the refrigerator, down here in the sink. We're gonna bring that up and get to dicing. You guys know what it is. You know what I say all the time. I don't mess around with raw chicken, so I'm gonna do my best to make sure that this is cooked properly. Robert Flower YouTube says, what are you making? I'm making a Thai red curry. You can see I'm using this curry base right here. We're gonna be doing it with some red pepper, some yellow onion, some carrot chips, and possibly some potato, or I might save this potato for something later on that's a little easier. JL Clodfelter says, I went on a walk today and it was 106 or whatever. Honestly, way more tolerable than Houston's 95. I've barely even been outside today. Is it like a dry heat today? I feel like it's been a little bit humid around these parts here in the Fort Worth area. As I was saying at the top of the stream, I have some good news to share with you guys today that's music related, and I have some big news to share with you guys today that is sort of music related. But let's dice some chicken first. Robot Flower YouTube says, do you draw? I do draw. In fact, the fact that I draw and do some art is kind of related to sort of the announcement that we have today. But first of all, I want to share some news about the music that has been going on recently. And of course, I say that as soon as I get my fingers into this raw chicken. But The Unchanging has been starting to get some radio play. That's my brand new single with my good friend Tehila. As well as Through the Night has been staying strong on radio, and You Were Always Good has been getting some radio play too. So if you're not familiar with my music, let me go ahead and put some links in the chat for you. I'm just going to put my link tree in the chat for you. That's where you can hear a lot of the music that has come out recently, including the brand new song that just came out with my friend Tehila. Let me just grab that link. There we go. I would love if you would follow me on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube or wherever you listen to music. Been gaining a lot of traction in that area lately, and I'm super grateful for it. In fact, since we're already talking about it, let me go ahead and pull up some of the stuff I was going to show you. As I said, I've got my brand new command center all set up. I've got 2 monitors. I'm so excited about all this, guys. I can actually see what everybody's saying at the same time with the addition of this new monitor. It's actually not a new monitor, it's a repurposed monitor. But to answer your question, it's been a long time since I've drawn regularly, but drawing is one of the kind of foundational art forms that got me started moving into graphic design, photography, and now film and video work. So definitely that understanding of composition has been a major, that you learn kind of in drawing and in static visual art first, has been a real big, a very big foundation for those other things. All right, I'm going to my documents folder here. I'm going to pull this up out of my streaming resources tab, get some graphics, pull these up in Finder, and then we'll get them over into the stream and we can kind of talk about this. Robot Flower says, how has your summer been going? You know, my summer has been a little bit crazy. Not going to lie about that, but mostly crazy in good ways. I traveled back home to the Cincinnati area a couple weeks ago. Next thing I knew, I was in Denver, Colorado for a work conference, as well as doing some hiking for about a day and a half with some friends. And then just been working on releasing new music, rearranging the studio, upgrading a lot of gear, just a ton of things going on, as well as continuing to stay involved at church, both with the church back home that my family helped to found, as well as Eagle Mountain International Church here and other churches in the area where I help with music and all kinds of other stuff. So there's just been a ton of stuff going on. I'm gonna see if I can pull this graphic up here. I think I can. Allow. Okay. So I wanted to show you guys and just celebrate with you together some wins that have been happening on the radio front. So these are 3 of the newest singles that I put out, and this is from my Apple Music for Artists account, and these are radio spins over the last month. So you can see You Were Always Good, which is more of like a kind of a straight ahead CCM song, has had 289 radio plays in the last month. This isn't online streams for things like Spotify, but this is radio plays, as well as Through the Night coming in behind that at 262, and The Unchanging, which just came out with my friend Tehila. That's got a lower number at 181, but that's because that's a newer song. It hasn't had time to get into these radio stations play in rotation yet. So I just wanted to say, you know, thank God for this and celebrate this with you all. And then look at some of the specifics here. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Yeah, so you can kind of see some of the radio stations that are playing these songs. The Bridge FM in Columbus, that's my home state of Ohio. Gateway Radio in Riversdale, I don't know what state that's in. Buckets Radio in Gloucester, and I'm assuming, I think that's in the UK. I'm pretty sure that is in the UK. ChristianPowerPraise.net, that's a website, and then The Light, which is a radio station in Dallas, and that one's super cool to me because I'm currently living in the Fort Worth area, the DFW area, so we're getting some radio play here too. Robot Flowers YouTube says, I've gotten back into drawing recently, a lot more of my misfit. I've been drawing and posting on my YouTube channel. How would you rate my art? Well, I can't rate your art right now, but I can check it out after the stream and take a look at what you're doing. So that's cool. You just keep practicing. But yeah, just maybe drop me a message in the DMs on my YouTube channel so that I have a link to make sure I remember to go check that out. Mascot. Okay. You said, gotcha. You meant to say you've been drawing a lot more of your mascot recently. Is that what your profile picture is? That's cute. That's cool. Drop me a DM and I can check out some more stuff later. And then also with the Unchanging, this has been on Bright FM. It's been on Rhema 99.9. Also ChristianHits.net, the Bridge FM out of Columbus. And then this one's cool, 99.7 FM in Sydney. And I think that's Australia. What's been really cool is we did a radio campaign for this just recently with my record label NRT Music. And obviously it's getting out to a lot of places, so I just wanted to celebrate that. That's pretty cool. So lots of cool radio play happening for all three of these songs, but then these stations in particular, for You Are Always Good and The Unchanging. Some here in Dallas, some in Ohio, and some even across the pond in what looks to be the UK in Gloucester, and in Sydney. I think that's Sydney, Australia. I can't prove it. Could be Sydney, Ohio. I know there's a Sydney, Ohio too. But I just wanted to share some of those metrics with you guys. All right, I got to get back to cooking. I got to get back to dicing some chicken. That's just the fun, good news I wanted to share with you guys today. There's some bigger news I want to share with you later, but let's keep working on this chicken. We'll get to that later. Abby says, y'all know why it's been so hot? It's a heat dome. Abby is our local weather maven. She has been a fan of meteorology since she was a wee dino nugget. She always knows why the weather is doing what it's doing. It's a heat dome. We legit have an extreme heat advisory here, Callista says. And Abby says that's pretty common here for this time of the year. That's true. I've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for about 2.5, maybe a little closer to 3 years now. I've gone back and forth home to Ohio quite a bit during that time. But I remember the first few weeks I was here, it was hitting like 114. It was not funny. It was not funny. Summers here can be pretty brutal. And I wonder how many people are still in town from the World Cup. Like how many foreigners are still here. They may have left, they may have gone home already, because obviously the last game was a couple of days ago. Congratulations to Spain for taking it home. But I know that there was a lot of discussion about, you know, the heat waves in the UK versus the heat waves here. When I was in London a few years ago, I was there in October. I want to say it was, well, I think it was in October of that year. And there were still some pretty warm, direct sunlight days there, which was disappointing to me because I wanted to experience London as foggy and overcast, you know, foggy London town. We had some days like that, but I really got more of that experience when I was in Ireland the year after. So I won't sit here and act like it doesn't get hot in the UK, because it does. I mean, I was there in October and it was still pretty warm. But I genuinely don't know how their heat waves stack up against ours. Now, I heard theirs was dangerous. I heard some people actually passed away. But I don't know if that's because it was hotter than it is here, or if it was just because they don't have the normal infrastructure to deal with it the way we do here. Gus Train, okay, you can start the stream. I'm here now. I'm glad you're here, bro. We were just talking about the heat. You know it better than anyone because you've been out in it all day from what I've heard. All right, almost finished dicing this chicken. Then we can keep following the rest of the recipe. This will probably be a shorter stream than usual tonight. I'm just trying to get a lot done right now, and I did a little bit of pre-prep, like I started the rice before the stream started and all those things. But I did want to make sure that I shared that news about those songs getting on the radio with you guys. And if any of you know Tahila personally, make sure you reach out and say hey to her. I know she's been in her new locale for a few weeks now, but we want to make sure she knows we didn't forget about her. If you stay a little bit further into the stream, I have some cool news to share with you, and I want to give you a little bit of a studio tour. I've spent the last several days revamping an area of my living space to really turn it into a legitimate, like an even more legitimate studio and business space for music, and then as we move down the line, even for video and photography as well. So I'll show you guys that when I don't have raw chicken on my hands, because as you know, we don't mess around with raw chicken. All right, this is the last of my chicken. We're getting diced up here, and we are finished. That is beautifully prepped. Gus says, yeah, I don't want to hear anyone complaining about the heat. For those of you who don't know, Gus is he's an auto mechanic, but he's also a diesel mechanic, and he has been outside slinging grease all day long. We've been in some private chats with him throughout the day. Normally I would do wet hand, dry hand Jacob here, but just being super safe and washing both hands since we're dealing with the raw chicken. All right, so we've got our chicken diced. Let's read through this. So we need to heat a couple teaspoons of oil in a saucepan, add the chicken pieces and cook on high for 30 seconds or until seared. I'll probably cook them a little bit longer than that. One, because I'm going to be using a pot instead of a really large pan, and two, because I'm doubling this recipe. After that, we pour in the simmer sauce and the coconut milk, stir the contents, and cover the pan with a lid and heat to simmer for 10 to 15 minutes or until the meat is fully cooked. After that, I need to add the mixed vegetables and cook for 3 more minutes or until tender. Kind of makes me wish I had prepped my vegetables first, because now my cutting board is dirty with raw chicken stuff. And I have another small cutting board, but it is way too small for that. Guess we need to add that to the shopping list just to get another bigger cutting board. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and offload this chicken back onto the plate I had it on earlier. And I think the only choice we have is to wash this cutting board to use it for the vegetables. And we're definitely going to have to sterilize this countertop after we finish today too. Sarah says if you're cooking the vegetables anyway, it won't matter. That's actually a great point. So yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to lightly rinse this cutting board off, because you're totally right. I'm cooking these vegetables anyway, so I don't have to be too thorough about washing the cutting board. It's all going to the same place. Jacob, he has Cholula on his counter. He's grown. Abby says, that's true. I finally ran out, or I'm at the very bottom of the bottle of Cholula that I have in the fridge. Here's the new one. It's not in the fridge. Callista says, not complaining, it just hurts when it hits my sunburns, okay? Callista, did you get sunburned when you were on, I know you had like a beach trip recently. Is that where that came from? Okay, I don't think I'm gonna worry about this potato. The potato I can cook up separately. I can maybe fry this, dice it, whatever, and add it to the curry later on. But I think the onion, the pepper, and the carrots are gonna be enough in the way of vegetables. So here we go. Okay, we have a pretty good critical mass of people here, so I'm going to make this announcement pretty soon. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this more at the top of the stream here before I start cutting into these vegetables, because I have some videos and stuff to show you. So I'm announcing this here first, and you're gonna see more about it in the coming weeks on those pages, but I'm starting a new business. And it's not really new because it's all things that I have worked in and done before. But up until this point, yes, you know me as a musical artist, but you guys have seen that sometimes I do work for other people too. I've mixed and mastered and produced songs for other artists. I've shot videos for people like Sarah and others. And for a long time, that's just kind of been a side hustle. And it is still a side thing because my main thrust is as an artist and like an actor and things. But I decided it was time to give this business a name. So while I start prepping this pepper, I want you to watch this little promo, and then I'm going to tell you where you can go follow some of this stuff. But let me give you a little promo for those of you who watch the live stream. You're the first to know. Here we go. Music production, cinema and video, writing, songwriting, mixing and mastering, visual art, editing, teaching. Daybreak Creative House is the home for all of that stuff. You might know me as Samuel Day, the artist. Go check me out on all those platforms. But I've also been working in all of those areas for many years, not just for myself, but for other creatives and clients to help take their projects to the next level. So if you're someone looking to connect with me and people that I network with to help take your project to the next level, or if you're just looking for some behind the scenes content, some education, maybe even just some opinions about all of those creative nooks, this is the place for you. Daybreak Creative House. All right, so that's Daybreak Creative House. That's the brand new thing that I'm launching. I've created a YouTube channel and an Instagram page for it. I've got some content made already that I'm gonna start posting over the next few days. I'm putting a link tree down in here if you would like to follow on any of those channels. So this covers everything from private lessons and educational stuff to maybe I'll be making some YouTube videos doing movie commentaries, film analysis, writing analysis, all the way to client work for mixing, mastering, video production, photography, all of that stuff that I talked about in the video. So if you'd go give me a follow on those channels, I just put the link tree down in the chat, so go check it out. I would very much appreciate it. And one of the reasons that I wanted to go ahead and talk about that now is I just did an overhaul of my studio space. I'm going to give you a little bit of an on-camera tour of it here if I can after we finish cooking. And that's just over my shoulder over here. Super excited. And I'm not even finished with it yet, but it looks good enough to show you now. All right, we gotta cut this pepper. We gotta cut some vegetables here. Now, I know a lot of you there in the chat, you have your own businesses or side hustles or main hustles as well. Callista, I know you've got a clothing brand that you're running with your mom, right? If you want to drop that in the chat, you certainly can. I know Jacob and Sarah have Saturate Music Studio that they have been working with clients for some time, helping do some production. And I'll go ahead and say this. I kind of anticipate Daybreak and Saturate working together on a lot of projects because we already do. Some of you know that I produced and mixed and mastered a track for Sonia Guerra a couple months ago. And we may be working together again, we'll see. Last couple weeks ago, we were kind of talking about the behind the scenes stuff of Sarah's Dear Martha music video. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of that stuff again, because that's the kind of stuff that's gonna fall under this. Gus says, I'm still security, right? And Abby says, we are security. That's right, you're definitely still security. I always appreciate having the security on set, whether I'm the one in front of the camera being the artist, or if I'm the one behind the camera helping to make it happen for somebody else. Sarah, I know, just started a brand new side business doing desserts and cake pops. Sweet Anticipation, I think is what it's called. I'm trying to remember. And then obviously David there in the chat, he does some mobile mechanic work. If you're somebody that he wants to work with. I'm not going to sit here and say he's open to client work because he's been doing a ton of stuff right now, but I know that he does some great work in that area also. So I'm going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes footage from Dear Martha. I know normally I just kind of chat with you more, but I have a bunch of stuff ready for the stream. I want to make sure that I show it while I'm prepping these vegetables. I'm going to show you that behind the scenes stuff, and then go ahead and show you Sarah's Dear Martha video, which while Daybreak Creative House didn't necessarily exist fully yet at that time, I think it would fall under the umbrella of Daybreak Creative House project. So let's take another look at the behind the scenes stuff, and then I'm going to show you her video again. It's in my list. There we go. Now wait to reconnect until you hit the beginning of that chorus, and then I line on chorus. So I'm going to grab some really quick close-up macro shots. Remember, we don't want to just get performances, but things like her hands on the piano, tree leaves, or just like her wistfully looking off in the distance. Anything we can use to cover up parts of the edit where maybe our performance shots aren't working, or we just need some extra things to sprinkle in to keep the edit moving. Always remember, get pickup B-roll. Further away. Sarah, let's go to the sidewalk so that Jacob has a little bit of a... There we go. That's what we want. Like, we want just the drama. Okay, we're going to be on this for a while. We're just now revealing that first house. Howdy. No, you're good, man.
We're not using your house, I promise.
We are making the music video.
Our farmers.
We're not farmers. Colleyville Nature Center. This place is really pretty. Let me see if I can show you. It's winter, so everything's kind of
Yellow. Look at all the yellow and gold in the trees.
yellow and gold.
Yellow and gold.
So some of you saw that a couple of weeks ago, but I love being able to show that behind the scenes stuff. Jacob says, I'm going to be that guy, your mic sounds off. Yeah, I think what was happening, dude, I think like the little receiver, the microphone portion of it was crammed up against my neck. So I've repositioned. Hopefully I sound a little bit better now. Gus Train, that's me, that's right. And Gus actually helped shoot some of that behind the scenes footage for us that day too, as well as running security on Sarah's video shoot. So that's the kind of stuff that falls under that brand. Here's the thing, I don't even think I can really start taking a bunch of client work on it quite yet because I already have some people that have contacted me that are previous clients that are wanting to do more. And I do need to make sure that I'm continuing to put out more of my own music too. Been making some moves with the record label recently, moving my entire catalog over to them as well as the Reclaimers catalog. So those of you who are heavy music fans, hard music fans, Reclaimers is moving over to NRT Music. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet. I don't think there's an official press release, but it is happening. So I said it. I said it on the live stream. What are you going to do? I just cut this onion in half and I am not in pain. So we're just going to power through it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this onion. Maybe it's the red onions that are a little bit more aggressive, which is unfortunate because red onions are some of my favorite types of onions in terms of flavor, especially if I'm having fajitas or something. I'm trying to cut these down as small as I can. How's everybody else's summer been so far? I know I've been talking about me a lot here. That's not necessarily the point of this podcast. Live stream. What's everybody else been up to? I know some of you have taken some trips. Jacob and Sarah were in Colorado with me, so that was super fun. I'm hoping to like make a vlog about it sometime soon. Just that has not, okay, I'm starting to feel it in my eyes now. It's fine. It's like Hot Ones, right? Like everybody starts out fine at the beginning when Sean's asking them a question and the cute like mandolin music is playing, but then eventually they start coughing and they add reverb to every bodily function they make. This is my Hot Ones. It's me chopping onions every week in front of you because every recipe I use, every recipe I make requires onions for some reason. Jacob says, it still sounds noisy, no idea why, like you're on the edge of the limiter and have a really high floor. It could be something like that from the settings we were using at work before. I have to check it later though, because I don't have a direct. As long as I'm hearable, as long as I'm intelligible, I'll take that for today. I'll take that for now. Calista says, Florida is the highlight of my summer for sure. So you were, okay, I was wondering, I knew you were on a beach trip, but I didn't know what state you were in. Abby says, I learned to bake French bread. I know. I had some of it and it was great. I told Abby the other day, I tried some of her bread and I tried a little bit of it with honey, which is something that she has to have limited experience with for allergy reasons. And I was like, well, I somewhat regret, I'm going to awkwardly inform you that your bread is good with honey. Okay, we have our onions chopped. We have our peppers chopped. We have our chicken diced. I don't have to do anything to these carrots because they're already carrot chips. Easy. It's time to start kicking up some heat over here. I'm going to prep the pan and everything. While I do that, I want to show you the Dear Martha music video that I made for Sarah, since you've seen the behind the scenes thing here. So you can kind of see what the finished product looks like. And then by the time you come back, we'll turn up the heat.
Oh, dear Martha, oh, you worry on many things, the work to do today, and what weather the winter brings. You invite me in your home with joy, and you're filling every open gap, but it's not your job to carry the whole kingdom on your back. Your whole life is in my hand. When you do and don't know what to do, I'll take care of the things you can't. So let go of every trouble and tell fear walk out the door. Dear Martha, don't worry anymore. Oh, dear you feel restless and tired. Oh, you're working to no end, and you're never satisfied. I know there's many ways to serve, but there's nothing that I lack. You see, I'm the one who carries the kingdom on my back. Do and don't know what to do, I take care of the things you can't. So let go of every trouble and tell fear walk out the door. Dear Martha, don't worry anymore. Worry always keeps you so much longer than you want to stay. So let me teach you my ways. Martha, Martha, you need only one thing. You know my portion's good, so would you sit at my feet?
And then there's Rodney enjoying some pie at the end there for the end screen. It was such a, you know, we were putting such a premium on making the video elegant and pretty that I felt like a little bit of humor at the end was okay. All right, I have some avocado oil that has been heating up in this pan. And let's double check our instructions again. We're gonna heat 2 teaspoons of oil in a medium saucepan. This is definitely more than 2 teaspoons. I just kind of poured it in there. I didn't even really measure, but it's definitely more than 2 teaspoons. Add chicken pieces and cook on high for 30 seconds or until seared. I have it on medium right now, so let's really crank this up. Make sure my wooden spoon is ready. Do I want a wooden spoon or do I want like a flat spatula? A flatula. No. A turner. Wait, there's a difference between a spatula and a turner, right? Who was I talking to about this recently? There's a culinary difference between the two things, and I don't remember what it is. But the names matter, the nomenclature matters. Callista says, we got a new car. Awesome. I know you had been, like that had been something you guys were focusing on for a minute, right? Because you had had some car drama over the last few months. Letting this thing heat up. That's awesome. What kind of car is it? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna add this chicken. Get in there, chicken. Woo! Woo! Up! Up! Oh my gosh! I'm trying to keep my face back because I don't want any popping oil to hit me in the face. I just touched some raw chicken. It's definitely going to be more than 30 seconds, but I needed to be on high though. We got to sear this. We got to sear this chicken. Get seared, chicken. Yeah, that's gonna take more than 30 seconds. I still don't think it's quite as hot as it needed to be. When you feel the grease popping out and hitting you in the arms and it hurts, you want to be careful. There we go. It's looking good. It's looking good. Okay, I'm gonna let that sear a little bit, and while that's happening, okay, sweet. Our coconut milk does not need a can opener. It's the pop top kind. That's helpful. Just gonna have to cut the tops off of these bags. It's probably gonna be cleaner than trying to tear them. Let's talk about the deep thought of the day. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really have one planned, and as I was sitting here thinking, I thought, let me talk about forgiveness. We've talked about it a little bit before, but it bears repeating because we're all living life with imperfect people around us. Something that I constantly have to remind myself about forgiveness is that it's a choice and not really a feeling. The feelings will follow the choice, but sometimes it really takes a lot of time. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you trust the person the same way you did again. I think a lot of people misunderstand that. I think there's a lot of Christian guilt involved in that. They think, well, if I've forgiven, I'll just trust them the same way again. No, trust and forgiveness are not the same thing. But there's also 2 scriptures that, well, let me back up. Let me tell you why I was thinking about this again this week. It's not because somebody did something deeply wrong to me or anything. It was that I've been reading this book. It's by a lady named Teresa Houdeling. It's called The Unhealed Believer, and unhealed is in quotation marks. To make a much, much longer story short, she's a lady whose testimony is that she was riddled with terrible, incurable stuff. And she had been raised in an atmosphere of faith to where they believed, you know, God heals and you're supposed to be healed and it's in the Word, it's in the Bible, all these things. But she was not seeing the results of it, even though she was kind of pulling all the right levers and trying to do all the right things. And she had a lot of frustration with that. And I think a lot of us have A lot of us have dealt with that in different areas of our lives. And so she just very simply kind of takes you through the process of how she went through that journey and saw restoration in her body and in her life. But one of the things that she talks about was she went through this, and this wasn't the only thing. This is like one chapter in the book. But one of the things that she talks about is how she went through a process with the Lord of forgiving people that she didn't even know she was holding stuff against. And for her, it was tearful. It was really emotional. Where she had to have things brought back up to her that she didn't realize she was still holding on to them. And one by one, make the choice to forgive these people in her lives. In her lives. She has one life. In her life. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add the simmer sauce and the coconut milk to this pan. So for her personally, that was really, really necessary. But then that kind of begs the question, right? It was holding her back. It was one of the things that was holding her back from receiving everything that like God had for her. It wasn't the only thing. That wasn't the end of the book. That's like halfway through the book maybe. It's part of the story that she shares. But it kind of brings to mind that there's two scriptures that are worth talking about on the subject. One is a scripture that is famous among some parts of the church that I'm, affiliated with. And it's Mark 11, verses 22 through 24. And that's where it talks about, bringing the things you desire before God. What things soever you desire when you pray, believe you receive them, and you shall have them. But then it says, but when you stand praying, forgive. And essentially there's some verses there that it's Jesus speaking, and it's like, Jesus, are you saying that if we don't forgive, God's not going to forgive us, and like we're in major trouble? How can we know? And then that brings up some very human questions, right? Like, well, shoot, how can I know I've forgiven everyone that I'm supposed to forgive? Is this coconut milk sweetened or unsweetened? I think it's unsweetened. I might have to add some sugar to this recipe later because I like my Thai curry a little bit sweet. But first we got to get this in here. I need to turn this heat down so I don't vaporize this stuff. But there's another scripture that I want to juxtapose this with. Because people will say, well, if you're not walking in forgiveness perfectly, then you can't be forgiven by God. And they're like, see, Jesus said it in Mark 11. Something that you got to bear in mind is that Jesus hadn't finished his work at the cross yet when he was talking in Mark 11. And I don't want to use that as like a cop-out to just throw out anything Jesus said. We don't want to throw out anything Jesus said, but we do want to look at it in the proper context. In Ephesians 4:32, it says, be kind to one another, be tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. Past tense. Interesting. So, really simply, like juxtaposing those two scriptures against each other, you've already been forgiven. Like if you've accepted Jesus after the cross, after he's finished his work, forgiveness is yours. Period. Now, does that mean you don't have to forgive? No, like being in unforgiveness still has consequences. But I would say that one of those consequences is not that if you don't forgive others perfectly, then God's not going to forgive you. I really don't believe that's a consequence. I really don't believe that's the case anymore. If we're going to take Ephesians seriously and what it says about life after the cross versus when Jesus was speaking about a very important subject, but he was still speaking before the cross had been fully accomplished. So that's the thought about forgiveness today, is like, it's something that you choose once. Actually, you choose it every day. Sometimes you choose to forgive somebody one day and the next day you still don't feel like you've forgiven them. You still don't want to be in the same room with them. That's okay. Your emotions don't have to have fully caught up yet for the choice to still have been real. So that takes some condemnation out of the equation. All right. Let's read this. We've added our coconut milk and our simmer sauce. We're supposed to pour it in, stir the contents, cover the pan with the lid, and reduce the heat to simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, let's do that. Let's cover this up. Oh, that smells so good. I really enjoy Thai curry. I think I actually like Thai curry better with noodles than I do with rice, but I'm finishing off some rice that I had here. So we're doing it with rice. But you know, you can actually have it over ramen noodles too. It's good that way. Abby, that cannot be that hard to open. I just clipped my fingernails. Look at my fingernails. They're so short right now. That's why it was that hard to open. I couldn't quite get it. All right. Callista says, it is a navy blue 2012 Chevrolet Sonic. I don't know what a Chevrolet Sonic is. I don't know what that looks like. Let me Google it. Navy blue. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this here. I'm just gonna pull it up over here on my other monitor. 2012 Chevy Sonic. Images. Oh, it's cute. Okay, I know what these are. I've seen these before. It's a little hatchback. It's kind of like the Ford. It's like Chevy's equivalent of like the Ford Focus. Are you guys ready for a studio tour? We've got our curry is sort of simmering over here. We'll add our vegetables later on. Gus says, I saw some clear nail polish, Sam. No, you did not, because there's no clear nail polish. I just have good nails. I take glucosamine and collagen, thank you. I can't help, look. I grow it raw, okay? That's just my hands. That's just my fingers. I'm just natural like that, all right? Clear nail polish, tell you what. Who wants a studio tour? I can't really take this camera in there because it is tethered to this laptop, but what I can do is I can kind of point at stuff and show you from behind the camera. Abby says he got French tips and Gus says on his toes. All right, let me show you what's up. I've been upgrading things in here with the launch of Daybreak Creative House and the ability to do not only more music and work for myself, but music for clients, photography for clients, video work for clients. I've been upgrading my space. So I wanted to show you, even at a distance, a little bit of this, and it's only gonna get better from here. So, let me just elevate you here and zoom in a little bit. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take this thing off the quick release plate. Okay, so we got the brand new studio desk over there with the piano pull out. I've got a little camera tripod there so I can start filming some more content. Microphone, interface, all that good stuff. And then over here, we got the guitars, we got the Helix unit on the ground, kind of a little practice station here, saxophone. So yeah, it's really starting to shape up, got some lights. My thought is, and that maybe I can take this side of the room and also have a collapsible like photography and video backdrop so that I can pull it up whenever we need to do promos or headshots. We can just shoot that stuff right here in the room, or we can even use that as maybe a little video recording nook. So I don't have everything in the room yet, but the upgrades are really taking shape. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be getting rid of that beanbag too. It's taken up too much room. But this way, this entire space can be dedicated to recording, production, mixing, client work, photography, and even video. Super, super excited about it. All right, let me bring you guys back around. Stop talking about my toes. Isn't that kind of live stream? Don't want that to boil over. That needs to relax. It needs to chill out. Ooh, that's frothy. Yeah, that's more than a simmer. I need to bring that heat down a bit. It's kind of boiling right now. We really need to drop that off. All right, while that's happening, let's wash some stuff. He says that because they're actually painted and he doesn't want to admit it. Look, here's the thing. The only way that I could prove to you that my toenails are not painted is to show my toes on stream. which is not a big deal to me. I don't care about feet. It's just feet. You see feet when you go to but the internet is weird about feet. Okay? The internet is weird about feet, and that just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like the right thing to do right now. I'm so used to feet. Let me explain. I spent years in martial arts. You know this. Everybody's barefoot in martial arts. You go to a Muay Thai class, you got a bunch of dudes who are only wearing their Muay Thai shorts and some boxing gloves, and that's it. You ever grappled with somebody? You ever done jiu-jitsu with somebody twice your size? One time when I was a teenager, I was sparring on a Saturday morning back home in Ohio, and we had this guy that used to come into class. Very cool guy, honestly. Lovely dude. I actually still see him now and again, even to this day. And you know, it's many, many years later. He'll show up to the dojo back home, and I'll see them post about it on social media. But at the time, this man was huge. He was built as all get out. He had traps like trapezoids, big shoulders. He always cut a little V in his t-shirts. I think I've told you about this guy before. And he was an accomplished martial artist, but obviously there was an age difference between us. I was just a teenager at the time, and he was bigger, so he didn't move as fast, right? My advantage in those situations was that I was light, fast, and flexible. His advantage was that he was big, strong, and experienced. But because, you know, we were light to mid contact sparring with gear on, he couldn't just hit me as hard as possible and deck me. So I had a little bit of a rules advantage on him because of that. So whenever he would get winded, whenever he would kind of get gassed, because I was moving around quickly with my 15-year-old self, and you know, scoring a bunch of free hits on him, that was basically just me tapping him. He would do a takedown, hip throw me or whatever, lay on top of me, and pick up all of his limbs and just let all of his weight center up on his sternum and just drop it on me. You know, and just sweat, his sweat just pouring onto me, rough stubble on his chin, hitting my forehead, you know. So I'm not weird about feet. I've had a dude twice my weight just lay on top of me and sweat on me. Gus says, please don't explain. Too bad. It's story time. I have at least another 5 minutes on this simmer. I had to have some kind of story to tell. Oh, there's the rice. The rice is finished. Beautiful. Beautiful. 1 cup of rice, and then I need to put rice back on my grocery list. You know what I've been seeing recently, though? Like, I got martial arts in my algorithm, and there are guys that do these like gym bully beatdowns. I'm not saying I approve of this. I'm saying it's interesting. So usually it's a guy who's like an accomplished MMA fighter or like gym trainer or something. And they'll have these guys who are either bullies or cyber bullies who come in and they're like, all like, I can take you, I can take anybody. And they put gloves on, right? Like they don't just bare knuckle wail on these dudes. But these guys who like say they're street fighters or say they're tough, just like watching them get humbled by these dudes, liver shot, knockout blow to the jaw. I don't get any joy out of seeing people get hurt physically. I really don't, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of that. But there's also something about like watching somebody get humbled that really just thought they were all that is interesting. It's real interesting. No, Gus, like, it's not the TV show Bully Beatdown. I know that was a TV show back in the day. These are recent. These are like TikTok videos. Where the guy, he's basically recreating that format, but in short form in his own gym. I don't know where he sources these guys from, but he's got a good handful of them. Man, it smells so good in my kitchen. As I've said many times before, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling right now. So yeah, that's all of my big and good news for tonight. Got some radio play, got a new business launching, got some studio upgrades, some creative space upgrades. A lot of cool things going on right now. I'm glad I got to share it with you guys while I made dinner. Let me look and see if there was anything else I was supposed to cover tonight. I don't think so. Abby says, what are your thoughts on Jimothy? I love Jimothy. I love Jimothy. I think I put these carrots in some raw chicken juice that was on the counter. So I'm going to do the weirdest thing. I'm going to get like a Clorox wipe and wipe this bag off. Jimothy, for those of you who don't know, is a deformed raccoon living in Seattle. There are a lot of... JL Claudefelter says, Jimothy getting shot. Yeah, I told Jacob and David about Jimothy the other night and sent them videos, and they're like, that thing looks like a face hugger from Half-Life. I'm emptying the mag if I see that thing coming at me in the alley at night. Look, I get it. Jimothy looks creepy in the dark. He's a raccoon that basically has a nub for a tail and he has no neck. So he's like a body with a face on it, and he's got kind of long limbs. So he does look kind of like an alien. But he's also a little sweetheart. Like, you can find videos of Jimothy when he was a little baby nub walking around in Seattle backyards. He's just going around finding, he's just doing raccoon things, and he's grown up and he's functional. Like he's... Abby says, if I see Jimothy in taxidermy, I'm calling the FBI. I agree. I love Jimothy. And one of the things that I've been enjoying about Jimothy so much is there's all this art going around of him. Like, apparently, like the Roku channel. Roku, look at this. Okay, look at this art. Roku posted this on their social media. We're going to have to do a thumbnail competition tonight too. There, Roku posted this. Jimothy has made it to Roku City. Right? Here's another one. This is made by an artist that I saw on Facebook. And I'm sorry, I need to revert to the original. An artist called Anna Buns. Let me crop this. But I thought this was adorable. Look at this art. Look at this art of Jimothy looking at a little butterfly in the Seattle sunset. It's adorable. Go look up videos of Jimothy. Get some joy in your life. Y'all are fighting in the now we got some content. You guys are fighting in the comments about Jimothy. Look, I'm team. I know some of you are team taxidermy. I'm team Jimothy, dude. I just had a thought. I just had a thought about tonight's thumbnail competition. I'm going to strike a pose. Something like this. Gus says, that's Igor, not Jimothy, my boy. Yeah, he looks strange, but he seems like a nice little guy. I had no ideas for the art tonight. I didn't really know what I was going to do. So help me work this out. I know Project Hail Mary just came out on Prime. That was a good movie. And Rocky kind of looks like Jimothy, if we're being honest. Or Jimothy kind of looks like Rocky. So we could do something themed with that, or we could do something Jimothy themed. Like, if I just like go like, but I don't know if AI would actually, would it redo his proportions, or would it actually keep him squonky the way that he is? I don't know. If anybody has any theme ideas for the thumbnail competition tonight, let me know, because we're coming up on the end of the stream. I just hit the end of my simmer cycle for this, so I need to add my vegetables for a few minutes. And then we'll basically be finished for the night. Thumbnail is going to be Sam as Jimothy. I don't know if AI is going to know what that means, and I don't want the results to look like I'm making fun of anyone, especially not any people. So maybe we stay away from that. We did World Cup a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to think of something that's like in the zeitgeist right now. I threw away the packets, and I need to look at them. Okay, we need to add the mixed vegetables and cook for 3 minutes, and that's it. Calista says, haven't done Spider-Man for the new Spider-Man movie. That's so true. We should do Spider-Man. I'm so excited about Spider-Man. I'm so excited. Cool. Let's do Spider-Man. I'm going to add these... I'm going to add these vegetables. Let those cook for a few minutes. No, I'm so excited about Spider-Man fighting the Hand and actually having a more organic Spider-Man story where, you know, he's having to overcome some things in his personal life in a different way that we haven't seen Tom Holland's. We've talked about this. I don't need to keep repeating myself. You know how I feel about this. But I'm excited. Yeah, let's do a Spider-Man themed thumbnail competition tonight. That'll be fun. Get my carrots in there. All right. Vegetables have been added. Let's get those submerged so that they can simmer properly. Yes. Oh, this looks awesome. So excited. Do I need to cover it? Am I supposed to cover it? You know that thing where you throw away the package and you have to keep taking it out of the trash to look at it? Add mixed vegetables and cook for 3 minutes until tender. It just says, and cook. Well, okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on so we can get the heat, we can get the heat kind of collecting in there and doing its thing with those vegetables. Okay, I don't know what the pose is. I could just hit like a Spider-Man pose. Here's what I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask you to turn me into Spider-Man. You could just put me with Spider-Man. Maybe Spider-Man is in the kitchen with me. Maybe it's Tom Holland. Maybe it's Andrew Garfield. Maybe it's all three. Or maybe I am Spider-Man, but I'm a Spider-Man variant. I don't know. This is your world. This is your world. You get to do it. But I gotta hit a pose. And I need some kind of cooking implement here. All right, get ready. JL says, please go look at your messages. All right, I'm looking at my messages. No, no, I'm just gonna show this straight off my phone. This is what they just sent me. Me holding a raccoon in a shotgun that just says, let's cook him. No, not Jimothy, please. All right, I'm gonna grab my spatula and my knife, I guess, and we're gonna hit a pose. And here we go. Get ready. We're gonna make a Spider-Man themed thumbnail, and here we go. Okay, I hope you got your screenshots. No, Jacob, stop, please. No more. I love Jimothy, dude. Okay, we'll give that another couple minutes on the vegetables. While we do that, I'm gonna prep some rice. I think I'm gonna eat this. Often you can eat this in on a plate and really spread it out. But you can, because Thai curry is so soupy, you can also just eat it from a bowl. I think I'm gonna do it bowl style tonight. Keep it really simple. And then also, I'm gonna need to store this rice. Let me get something to put it in. I'm trying to use a lot more glass storage recently. Yeah, this should be just fine. I only made 1 cup of rice. That's all I had left. Need to get some more. And there is the lid. Yeah, David's got to keep up his street cred. He will be so nice to you in person, but he will 100% roast you online. That's his dynamic. See, there it is. You'll be fine, I promise. I'll hurt your feelings, but I'll punch someone for you. Callista's like, I know how you are, David. Davidio. Yes. Rice. Beautiful. A little burnt, a little caked up on the bottom. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. The carbs will still carb. Jacob says, I get roasted by David online and in person. He's nice to y'all. Well, here's the thing, Jacob. I think David knows that your love language is moderately roasting people in general, so I think he responds to that. Mine isn't, and I think he responds to that. He's nice to me. Was I not supposed to tell anyone that, David? Am I ruining your street cred on the internet right now? Well, c'est la vie. Okay. That curry should be good to go. Let me check on the consistency of those vegetables. That's going to be the determining factor here. You don't want to overcook them and get mushy vegetables, but I already turned the heat off, honestly. So let me just get a little pepper. I think the peppers are going to be the best indicator. Close, but the peppers haven't really absorbed the flavor. I'm going to turn that heat back on and give it just a little bit more time covered. Because that just tastes like a hot bell pepper. It doesn't taste like it's infused with that curry flavor yet. The other thing I think I need to do though is I need to taste the curry sauce itself. Because sometimes these pre-made ones need a little bit of help. Sometimes you got to add a little sugar or a little salt or something like that. So we got to check that out. JL says, David is nice to his son because he's a good father, and we family thugs around here. David says, oh, that's because you were paying me for services, dog. That's business. Oh, well, I'm glad I got your customer service voice then. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm going to add a touch of sugar to that, but it doesn't need a lot. It's a little over savory just because there was so much natural juice and chicken broth in that chicken. Those were frozen chicken thighs that I had thawed out, defrosted, so that tends to add some savoriness to it. Oh, my sugar is all the way back there. I can't reach it. I need a chair. I heard you swallow, homie. That was disturbing. I'm sorry. The mic is right next to my trachea, dog. Whoa! That chair just slid. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to put a bit of sugar in there. Not uncommon for this kind of thing. I've put peanut butter in Thai curry before. Totally works. Because peanut is just a very common ingredient in Thai cooking. I don't think this is gonna need all that though. Well, this is a double recipe, so that I can be a little bit more liberal with that, and it's okay. Just stir that in. Really and truly, that probably wasn't even that much for this large of a recipe. Okay, rinse that spoon so I don't cross-contaminate. Keep everything clean. And I am gonna try that one more time. JL says, I'm really happy with my submission. Oh yeah, we gotta look at the thumbnails. You can tell it's been some time since I've done a Let Him Cook, because I forgot that we do that. I forgot we do that at the end. I think I can turn that heat off again. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna add a touch of black pepper. And I think we're good to go. And then let's check another vegetable. Let's bite another small pepper here. Ooh, that's hot. That's really hot. There we go. Soft but not overcooked. Beautiful. Okay, let's, I'm just gonna sit down at the counter here and eat, and we're gonna look at your thumbnail submissions really quick, and then call it a night. Thank you for joining me on the return to Let Him Cook. I know it's been a couple, if not a few weeks since I've been there, since I've done one of these. Jacob, final submission. All right, bro. That's hilarious. Okay, if anybody else has a submission, make sure you send it through to me now. You can send them later on, and I'll make sure they get on the story for voting. But if you want to be featured on stream, it's got to come through here pretty soon. Jacob says no. No one else submit. All right. Put together my little bowl here. We will look at the submission together. Some nice Thai chicken curry here. Beautiful. Okay. Well, Jacob says no one else submit. Force him to use mine. See the steam coming off that bowl? Oh, Callista's working on one? Okay, cool. We'll have at least one other contender. All right, I'll wait for that to come through, and then we'll take a look at those. I feel so short. Let's bring you down here. Yeah, that's better. So, let's take a look at that bowl. Simple. But we got our chicken in there, our peppers, onions, and then a bed of rice underneath, and we can just kind of mix that together. It's not quite restaurant quality. I'm not a master of Thai curry. I used a pre-made simmer sauce. but I did still home make this, so you're eye level with me now, Sam. Now, honestly, this is really nice. I'll kind of show you my little rig here. So this, I got my used to be that I only had the laptop. And the problem was I had Instagram, YouTube, and OBS, and I was trying to run all the graphics and keep an eye on both of the chats at the same time, and it just started to get really, really hectic. And this monitor, because I'm just using a TV as a second monitor in the studio room now, this monitor can literally just sit here and be for Let Him Cook, which is wonderful. All right, Callista, I'm keeping an eye out for yours. If you want to text that to me, you can send it through Instagram DMs, but if you want to text it to me, that might be a little bit easier. Abby's working on one too. Abby's working on one too. I see that message. She says, chat is running so slow, Jacob sabotaged mine. That's okay. You know what? While you guys work on that, I'm going to get a little bit of stuff cleaned up, because that's something I have to do anyway. So, let's clean up a touch. Take that pot off of the old hot burner. Put the lid back on because we're going to store it in the fridge that way once it cools down. Get the lid on the rice here. The potato we didn't use. Clip on the carrot bag. Apparently Callista, you and Abby are both having, your tools are running a little slower tonight. It's all right. I have patience. And this is, the end of a Let Him Cook stream, a lot less to do than the beginning of one. So we're just kind of hanging out. We're just kind of chilling. That's why I don't feel self-conscious about maybe washing a couple dishes or whatever way you guys get that finished up. Not a big deal. Abby says, Jacob, how do I get chat to run faster? The honest answer is money. Jacob and I have both been testing ChatGPT Plus versus Claude Pro. We're kind of comparing and contrasting some of their features. And I'd be interested if any of you are kind of tech nerdy like we are, if you've done any of those tests. We've tested everything from Claude Code to the website builder to image generation to agentic, like use my computer desktop type stuff. We're learning a lot. We're learning a lot. It's all very nerdy, but it's all in the goal is we want to be able to just do our artistic and business endeavors faster. Or be able to focus on the parts of that work that are more meaningful to us and take the unmeaningful parts and offload it onto the machine. So yeah, the answer to that question, Callista, is probably just paying the $20 a month for a subscription, which you don't have to do for general everyday use. It just will run slower on you. I think that, there's also just the issue of, I still think that there's kind of server load for those things too, where it may not be running as fast on the web at a given time just because there's more users trying to do more stuff with it at the same time. Kind of like if a website gets overloaded with too many users. Jacob is kind of what we call a min-maxer though. It means he's very, very good at getting the maximum results for the minimum amount of effort. He's very good at optimizing tools and processes. So I can see he's saying you can start multiple chats for different prompts at the same time though. That can speed up the process. See, that's something I wouldn't have known. I know you can open up chat in multiple tabs, but I don't know how its token usage and stuff are going to work for you. Maybe I have time to wash this cutting board. And then I will sit down and eat because I don't want my food to get cold, but it was really hot a moment ago, so I don't think I was in any danger of that. Anybody else have any neat news? Anything cool going on that they want to share or anything like that? Anything of that nature? This is kind of the part of the stream where I start to run out of things to talk about unless the chat is just kind of going crazy. It's all right if we're chill too. I think eventually it would be really fun and neat to have multiple cameras for this stream. Maybe have an overhead camera, one dedicated over at the stove, one over the sink. And eventually I might have to have, I don't know, like a live moderator or something. Some people here helping me, somebody helping me switch angles or moderating the chat or something. One step at a time though, huh? It's so funny, I'm basically wiring up my entire apartment to be creative space in like every nook and cranny that I have. The whole front room is now a business space. It's all for client work and recording and stuff. The kitchen is basically for this show. I got my studio light over here, my little backlight. My bedroom is becoming more of a personal space now because I've moved a lot of that stuff out here. But even then, I work in my bedroom a lot. I've got a desk in there. Oh, I will tell you one thing though. Negotiate your internet prices. Something that I learned recently. So my internet rate had just been going up a lot over the last couple of years. And I was getting offers from a competitor to essentially give me twice the speed for like half the price. So I did some poking around online and people were suggesting that you do this. Even people that work at internet companies were suggesting that you do this. They're like, hey, call up their cancellations department, tell them, hey, I'm getting offers from one of your competitors to give me this speed at this price, and I'm looking at my monthly expenses right now and reevaluating some things. What can you do about this? I spoke with a lady on the phone today who was so nice. She was so nice. She was like, yeah, let me help you out with that. She called me honey like 50 times. Yeah, let me see what I can do about that. And basically, she gave me a promotion that basically didn't cut my internet bill exactly in half, but it almost cut my internet bill in half and gave me a significant bump in speed. And she was like, now look, this is gonna last a year. And she goes, when you start getting a few weeks out from the renewal for a year, just call us again so we can set this back up for you and make sure you stay on a discounted rate. I was like, thank you so much. So if you wanna save some money on your internet bill, call them up, give them a competitor's rate, and ask them what they can do about it. I didn't have to demand anything. I didn't have to be like, I'm threatening to cancel, tell you what. I just told them, I had a little script and I told them, and they were so nice and accommodating about it. Now, I was speaking with the cancellations department because they're the one that have most power to do that, but I got to them by using like the touch tone on my phone. Callista says, might have to bail, it's not working. Oh, that's okay, Callista. Abby says, it keeps saying I asked something against the rules. You literally had a dead raccoon on yours. You know what it may have been? It could be struggling with the fact that if you're asking it to do Spider-Man, it could be because it's like a copyrighted IP, a copyrighted intellectual property. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know, but maybe. Abby says, I go to Broken Arrow on Friday. I love Broken Arrow. I don't know the town very well, but I do have some family in that area. That'll be cool. That'll be fun. Abby says, yeah, it did that to me too. Or Jacob says, it did that to me too, Abby. You have to learn how to phrase it. I specifically said no blood in mine. It determines whether or not your prompt is okay after it generates the image and then analyzes it, not based on what your prompt says. Yeah, Callista says, yeah, it said I can make you into Spider-Man, but I can't put you with a Spider-Man. Okay, that's maybe an NIL thing, a name, image, and likeness consideration. So it probably couldn't put me next to like a celebrity, next to Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, because that's their name, image, and likeness, and they haven't given permission for it to be used in an image. That's probably what it is, and not the Spider-Man IP thing. Abby said mine is copyrighted material. Well, man, didn't stop Jacobs, because Jacobs is definitely Spider-Man themed. Okay, we'll take a little bit more time. If that doesn't work, I'm not trying to use up your time on a silly project. I know these are fun, but I'm not trying to waste your time either. Like, make me a thumbnail. It's something we get to participate in, but I'm not trying to crack the whip on everybody in the chat either. Abby says I might be getting somewhere. Awesome. Jacob says, y'all gotta learn to talk to AI. Tell it to make a Spider-Man that is masked, or a Spider-Man that isn't actually Spider-Man, or a Spider-Man that isn't a specific actor. Learn the language. Learn the language of the clankers. Jacob, are we allowed to talk about the project that you and I worked on recently? I don't know if that's something we can share with folks. If not, that's okay. I understand that when things are unreleased, they're unreleased. We did. Ready to fly. You know what I'm saying? Abby says, if I call it a clanker, will it do its job better? Let's find out. What did everybody else have for dinner tonight? Zero Judgment Zone. Zero Judgment Zone. You guys watched me cook, but like last night, I had leftover Domino's cheese pizza and a frozen chicken pot pie. So, stuff happens. Jacob says, oh yeah, you can talk about it. Awesome. So, Jacob recently worked on a video game. Let me know if I can tell them the name of the game. Gus Train had chicken lo mein. Solid. Jacob recently worked on a video game for something called a game jam, which is usually when a bunch of independent developers get together with a short time span to make a brand new video game. And I think sometimes other teams of devs do it at the same time, and then everybody shows their submission at the end of the period. Abby says instant ramen and ice cream. We all have those days. And I got to do some voice acting for it. So I'm a couple of characters. One is sort of like an ace pilot, like kind of 90s action hero ladies man sort of dude. And his voice is right here. Guns are loaded, ready to fly. It's that kind of stuff. And then another one of the characters is like a... the voice, it's more down here, and it's a little bit more British, and it's supposed to be like a mind reader, like psyop type of kind of alien ship character. I'm reading you. Seeking out the sector. It's stuff like that. It's all down here, and it's highly affected, and he's deep and brooding. I'm not even doing the voice right because I'm not warmed up. Did you ever hear that Robert Pattinson had to do warm-ups when he shot the Batman? Because his voice, naturally speaking, is higher, and his Bruce Wayne and his Batman has a lower speaking voice. So he had to actually do vocal warm-ups before they did takes. And I kind of had to do the same thing for this other character, because he's down here, and he can read your mind. So it's really intense like that. And then Jacob is in charge of all the sound effects as well as the voice acting direction for it. So he's been making all these spaceship sounds and these taking myself and another voice actor named Dakota and taking all of our takes and adding all the effects to them to make us sound like we're in ships and we're talking over the radio and we're alien and stuff. So I'm really, really excited about it. Callista had tacos for Taco Tuesday. JL says, I finalized the sound effects for it today. It's actually really cool, but I can't keep grinding it. I made like 125 sound effects or something. I'm so excited, dude. I'm excited to, I mean, honestly, we can make like a Daybreak Creative House reel about it. And I can be like, I'm these two characters in Sinister Stars, I think is the name. Abby says, I got an entirely different prompt, not even the same idea to work on. It's way more of a copyright issue than the original one. Callista says she's done with hers. JL says you can straight up show him the unlisted link for voice lines if you want. Nathan Abney music is in here. I would love to show them the unlisted link, but I don't know how I would reliably pull that up in OBS right now and have the audio come through. So I might just share it with a few people personally, but I'm not sure I know which link you're talking about. Is it the one you posted in our Discord? What's up, Nathan? I was just telling folks that I got to be a voice actor for a video game recently that Jacob was working on. Super excited about it. And I also announced my new business, Daybreak Creative House, earlier in the stream, which is going to be my umbrella entity for all things client work when I'm not busy being an artist and doing my own stuff, working on mixing and production and mastering and private lessons and film and video and music video for clients and stuff. All that is going to be under this new brand. And since you just got here, I'm going to go ahead and post the link tree to that in the chat. In the chat for you. I got too many windows open. Okay, looks like we got our other thumbnail submissions. Nathan says, I'm not very good with vowel shaping, which impacts me heavily for singing and accents. My accents are okay. I think if I landed a major deal, I would have to work with a dialect coach. Even just one I could find like on Fiverr or something. That part that I had to do the more kind of foreboding RP adjacent British for, I could be a little bit general with. Because it was just a handful of voice lines. Reading you. Sweeping the sector. I forget. Because there was one, again, he's like a mind reader or something. He's like an alien something or other. I've already checked. It's still space. And then the other one, like I said, is more of like a 1990s action leading man, aviator wearing, ready to kill, point me at a target. It's just that kind of stuff, you know? JL says, I could send you the file, but instead I'm going to make them actually go play it to hear all the work. Awesome, man. Yeah, send it to me or send it directly to them. I'd love to hear it too, because then you get to hear not only my voice acting, but you get to hear all of Jacob's intense sound design work and mixing work on these characters. The distortion, the formant shifting, all the cool spaceship effects. Yeah, definitely. Whatever link Jacob wants to circulate about that job, just go check it out. All right, let me get these thumbnails downloaded from you guys, and we'll look at them together before we sign off for the night. Callista says, best I could do. That's okay. So it's not very like Spider-Man, but it's kind of comic book. Hey, look, the tools limit you. You still get creative, right? I respect that. Abby, this is hysterical. She says, genuinely more of a copyright issue than the other one, but oh well. All right, so we have 3 submissions tonight. We have Jacob, Callista, and Abby. And again, if you guys have some that you want to submit later on, you can, and I'll still add them to the voting. JL says you'll get it in like a week or something. That makes sense, because you just finalized all of the sound effects work for the game. So it's just cool. I've been wanting to get more into acting and voice acting for some time now, and to even get to do a couple of small characters, a couple of small parts in a video game. It's like, I can forever point to that and be like, I'm in a video game. Oh, Nathan Abney. Nathan, are you about to meme on me again? He is. Nathan Abney once again memeing on me with a random candid. All right, let's get these uploaded, get them opened up in preview. We'll take a look at them together. Okay. Over here, preview, image 4.4. All right. And here we go, starting with Jacob's. It's violent, it's sad, it's a little mean, but I do appreciate your details. Okay, so instead of let him cook, it says let's cook him, as was said before. It is Spider-Man themed. I am in a spider suit. I'm cradling a Jimothy who clearly can't read and clearly doesn't know what a firearm is because he's smiling in blissful ignorance at the fact that I am holding the Punisher's shotgun. Frank Castle about to eat some raccoon out here. So that's from Jacob. That'll be going up into the voting shortly. This one's from Callista. Callista said she had some problems with her tools. It didn't want to do the Spider-Man thing, so she went with just a comic theme instead. It's got let him cook up at the top. And as we've been noticing this a lot recently with AI, it loves taglines with 3 parts. So chef, guardian of the kitchen, ready to cook. I should say that in the fighter voice. Ready to cook. Nathan Abney, I'm hopping off, everyone. Good night. Good night, Nathan. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. If you guys haven't already, go look at Nathan's vlog from his Japan trip. It's like 2 hours long, and it's just a very fun, chill watch if you want to have it on while you're doing some work on your second monitor. But it's just a fun vlog. That man is handsome and jacked. You got 6 fingers on your right hand on Jacob's. Do I really? I do. There's a ghost finger in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spider fingers. Keep it. Spider-Man grown fingers. You know, there is a storyline that was in the animated series where he actually becomes like a man spider instead of a Spider-Man. He grows like 3 other arms that come out of his sides, and he has like a arachnid face. It was scary. All right, and Abby's, which is the Spider-Man pointing at each other meme. Let him cook, but instead of Spider-Man pointing, it's like, I mean, if there can be a spider pig, there can be a spider raccoon too, right? I love the meme reference. Meme references are hilarious. Beautiful. I love how starkly different all 3 of these are. That's what we like to see. Always makes for a good, lively voting competition. And each and every one of you now has won at least one of these competitions. Callista was our winner last time with her Tangled one. So everybody's a contender now. Everybody's got to win at this point. JL says, "Aw, dang. Abby, that's really good." JL says, "I'm pretty sure that's literally the plot of the new movie." Yeah, they're definitely at least referencing it, right? Where it seems like he can do his web biologically now, and the genes are taking over, and so he's trying to consult with Bruce Banner of like, what happens when a spider? What are the life cycles of a spider, Bruce? You know. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me for the return of Let Him Cook. Again, before we sign off here, I'm just going to reiterate one more time the launch of Daybreak Creative House. If you're looking to get some music produced, mixed, or mastered, if you need to have some photography done or a music video made, or if you're looking to take some private lessons or learn some stuff, that's going to be the home for all of that stuff that I do, so I can keep it separate from my identity as an artist. And also on that YouTube channel, I'm hopefully going to be posting some things like movie reviews, analysis of film, writing, stuff like all of those creative things, and even tutorials for doing mixing or mastering or Logic Pro, stuff like that. So it's all that educational, techie, and like enabling artists to make their art type of stuff over there. So as we sign off today, I'm going to play that promo video one more time before we hit the music videos. Until next time, I love you guys. Onward and upward. I'm going to finish my dinner. I'm so hungry. I'm ready. Music production, cinema and video, writing, songwriting, mixing and mastering, visual art, editing, teaching. Daybreak Creative House is the home for all of that stuff. You might know me as Samuel Day, the artist. Go check me out on all those platforms. But I've also been working in all of those areas for many years, not just for myself, but for other creatives and clients to help take their projects to the next level. So if you're someone looking to connect with me and people that I network with to help take your project to the next level, or if you're just looking for some behind the scenes content, some education, maybe even just some opinions about all of those creative nooks, this is the place for you. Daybreak Creative House.
Another sunrise as the atoms of the universe revolve. Beauty in your eyes as the harmony of your intent resolves. They sowed discord, but they can't overthrow your melody. My friend and my Lord, I'll stay here and sing of you and me. And I'll stay with you. I'll stay, kept warm in the light of your truth.